Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, you'll soon be able to pay for an NCS premium service. No details until the day before it launches. It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We have got a good show for you today. We are going to be talking about the news from the week, including a release date for the last of the Shovel Knight DLC. And then on Thursday, we are going to be determining the 5 best Donkey Kong games to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Donkey Kong Country. But Mark, in the meantime, how are you?
I'm doing great. So I listened to a podcast called the Super Mercado Brothers. Bros. It's bros, but I was going to say like brothers.
Yeah.
You get the
point.
Tough.
It's tough because like bros doesn't sound like brothers.
Right.
It's weird.
And they're doing, it's a video game music podcast.
Great.
And every November they do a Nintendo month. And look, I'm jumping right into it.
Yeah, do it, man.
Okay, so next week is our grand determination of the best piece of Nintendo music ever.
So now, Mark, you must have misspoken, right? There's no way that this is already happening next week.
It's happening next week.
Oh my God!
Which means
yes,
we need you to send in your nominations
by
this Friday?
By this Friday.
The 22nd.
The 22nd
of November.
Yes. So please email us your nominations for the best piece of Nintendo music. Email us at nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com or tweet at us. We are at NinCartSociety. I actually I'm pulling this up on the fly. But we did get an email from Juno who suggested some, who nominated some tracks. Said, he said, I love the best music selection tournament idea. A really cool follow-up idea would be best songs. So only music that has lyrics.
I love that. Yes. We should 100% do that.
Yep.
Yeah, so thank you, Juno. That's a great idea. And also thank you for sending in suggestions. Here's the thing, is that I'm listening to the Super Mercado Bros podcast.
Yes.
They're going over some incredible Nintendo music, and I'm terrified that we're going to be missing, like, the best piece of Nintendo music won't get nominated. I don't know what it is. Right. I don't know off the top of my head.
Right.
But I'm so worried that there's going to be like one big omission. And so I'm begging people to write in. Help us cover our bases.
We want everything that could possibly be the best piece of Nintendo music. We want it in there, and only you can nominate it. We cannot add songs or any pieces of music ourselves. Also, thank you to everyone who has graciously written in adding Gusty Gardens to the lineup. People have taken mercy upon us.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Juno. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Mitchell, for writing in this last week. And thank you to everyone who has done so already. It is a huge help to us. And yes, the more nominations we get, the harder this is going to be. But bring it on.
Yeah, that's a problem for next week.
That's correct. Also, if you want to borrow my copy of Sonic Forces, you can email us nintendocartridgesociety@gmail.com with a mailing address. I send you my copy of Sonic Forces. You play it for as long as you want. You send it on back. And that's that.
That's all there is, baby.
Mark, should we get into what we've been playing this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because we've been playing a big game. The hour of the Pokemon is upon us. I've been playing Pokemon Sword.
I've been playing Pokemon Shield, as was determined by our coin toss.
That's right. And as far as you know, it was the Super Mario Odyssey commemorative coin that we flipped to make that determination. I believe that we both established that we were going to be selecting Grookey as our starting Pokemon. Did you follow through on that?
I did,
Okay,
yes, I have. I've heard that he doesn't have the best final evolution.
I have all of the final evolutions of the starters are getting some kind of like eye rolls.
Some
right?
people
don't.
Or yeah, I think
Sobble.
people like Sobbles. People like. I mean, I think they're maybe not the best ever. Have you looked to see what the final evolutions are?
No.
I haven't either. I'm wondering if I should, so that way I'm not that far into the game yet. So if I want to restart, I can. But the thing is, I don't know that I care enough.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and also like I'm having a good enough time using Pokemon like my Grookey, who is now a Thwacky, is
yeah, Thwacky's so
Thwacky's a little weird.
he gets 2 sticks.
He gets 2 sticks. Yeah, that's how you know he's evolved.
And he's like lanky now.
Yeah.
He's like teenage Groot.
He is totally teenage Groot. But he's usually in my party, but he's not always.
Interesting.
So like I am finding that there's enough for me to like in the other Pokemon. I love how much this game is throwing out Pokemon that are either new or new to me.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
That I'm not seeing a lot of like Gen 1 Pokemon. And I'm not seeing a lot of the like Alolan Pokemon either.
Yeah, I feel like, and maybe it's just because I'm still early in the game, but to me that feels like a benefit of not having like the national Pokedex.
Yeah, and that's how I feel too. That's something that I have been for a long time. That I'm like, nah, I don't care about that. Like, I know that it's rubbing some people the wrong way, but I'm really enjoying having what feels like an exotic Pokedex. And so even when I see something like the Galarian Meowth, which was not something that had been advertised before the game came out, that like it's a joy to see all these weird creatures, and so many of them that I have like no reference point for. It just feels like super fun, and like I'm actually exploring and discovering stuff instead of like kind of being led through the same like Pokemon exercise over and over again.
One of the things that we've given the games crap for in the past, even Let's Go, is like the avatars are so expressionless.
Yes.
And I feel like they've made a lot of strides with Sword and Shield, where like the characters, including yourself, have a little more personality.
Yeah.
And you probably have the least amount of it. You're still a little blank. You do have more like expressions rather than just like the pie-faced, like blankness that you used to be. But I feel like the animations in this game, like there's a lot of attention to detail. So even if there's not a lot of them, they convey so much personality.
Yeah, totally. Like all of the human characters in this have a lot of like Leo. Like I get that guy Hop, who's an idiot, by the way.
I mean, so I think because if we both got Grookey, that means that Hop picked Sobble. Did he pick Sobble for you?
He picked Sobble, but also he loves his Wooloo more than anything.
Well, look, Wooloo are so cute.
Are you rolling?
They're
rolling
around. I'm not yet. Yeah. I haven't caught one.
Oh, really?
But no, like I think even the Pokemon are like they have so much personality. Like in the beginning, you have your 3 to choose from, and they each have like their own little like snap to animations.
Yeah.
And Sobble kind of like frames his face with his hands like he's posing for a senior photo. It's just like the little attention to detail. Like really in general, I think the game is very pretty.
Yes,
I think
agreed.
the vistas and like all the rolling hills and
the
color
colors,
choices I think are really interesting. And I really am enjoying the wild area. I spend so much time because you get there very early.
So early.
It's
like within the first 2 hours.
Yeah. And you can just run around and explore forever. And yes, and you absolutely get very quickly to parts where you're like, I am not leveled enough.
Oh yeah, they are like, oh cool, I'm gonna fight this. Like right away, I encountered an Onyx, and I was like, I'm gonna get this bad boy. And I go into the fight, and I'm probably like level 7 or 8 at this point, and it's level 32, and I was like, oh dear God, run away.
But yeah, I like how they've kind of split the difference between random encounters, and being able to see the Pokemon in the wild. I think that's like a really smart compromise. It's one of the things I really liked about Let's Go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love how early you can customize your character. You can spend all your money on clothes if you want to.
Oh, right away. You can. Yes.
I also am very impressed with kind of like the online aspect of it, where you're kind of always connected in a really cool way.
Yeah.
So you can see, if people want to trade cards, if people want to trade Pokemon, you get like these stamps that are showing up in the lower left-hand corner of the screen.
Yeah, that's right.
And you can always just kind of toggle in by pressing Y to see like more detail on it. I think it's just a really interesting way to do online that, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the best features of this game weren't like advertised.
Yeah, I mean, I think its online functionality is, I mean, previous Pokemon games have allowed you to do things online, but I don't think I think Pokemon usually assumes that you are not in your home when you're playing the game, right? That you are not like tethered to your home internet connection, but simply by virtue of being on the Switch, you kind of are more frequently when you're playing Pokemon Sword and Shield. So like, it's built to be online the whole time, and like you don't have to, but like if you can, there are a lot of extra features there for you.
Have you been camping?
I've been camping a little bit. Camping is super cute, and everyone loves catching the ball. No one likes this stick with the feather. No one does. Everyone that I like shake the toy around, they all like try to tackle me.
But I love that there's like an area now where you just like set up camp and you can play with your Pokemon, and then you get to see like other Pokemon just run into your camp. It's a lot of fun. I think this is the most. I'm only a few hours in, but I think this is the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game.
Yeah, me too. And also just like the world is specific enough, and I think actually we talked about this a fair amount when Sun and Moon came out, that like we liked being in the like Hawaii like region of Alola. And I think I like being in this region even more. Like it feels more specifically British, and like the like local flavor of it is very satisfying to me.
I think it helps that there is more like variation. And that it's just more fully realized.
Yeah,
I completely
totally
agree.
So we've been playing Pokemon Sword and Shield. We'd love to hear. How far are you?
I'm not very far. So like, I'm at like the first gym.
Okay. I am just about to go into the third gym, into the fire gym. You and I need to like touch base and figure out like what Pokemon do you need me to like catch doubles of.
We should also compare notes on what the gyms are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I think we're going to be playing and talking about this game for a while, which now we can just add to the list of games that we'll be talking about and playing for a while, including Fire Emblem Three Houses and Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, because there are so many long games that came out on Switch this year. But I'd also love to hear how everyone else is enjoying their first weekend with Pokemon. Have you noticed this, by the way? I had way more friends on the Switch playing Pokemon this weekend than I've ever seen people playing anything. There's always like a pop when a new game comes out.
Yeah.
That like everyone is playing it for like a little bit, but like I've routinely seen like twice as many people online as I had been previously.
I was proud to see a lot of my friends rocking Pokemon Shield.
Yeah.
It feels, like a curated group that elected to get Pokemon Shield.
Yeah, that chose to follow Mark instead of me. I'm gonna have all the Farfetch'd, and y'all aren't gonna have any. He's got a leak. He's a little duck.
It's adorable. I do need
you do need a Farfetch.
I do need a Farfetch.
All right, let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Oh, one more thing. Sorry about
do we need to go back?
Pokemon.
No, just go ahead.
We can let it ride.
All right.
You can like share cards?
Yes.
With people, and at Super Game Joy, listener of the show, sent us their card, their like code, so they could share cards. It's just another like fun thing. As you defeat gym leaders, you get their cards, and like later in the game, my understanding is they start
people are
being,
just
like
giving
special
cards
ones
to you,
and like things like that. I think that's another like fun thing. If you would like to send your card code to us, please do. I don't know if we'll put them in these show notes, but you can find it on Twitter or somewhere.
Yeah,
we will have our card codes as well.
Yeah, so get our cards. New releases.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay, so I guess before we get to the new releases, so I maybe even
Should we go back?
No, just let it ride. There is a big eShop sale on the Switch right now.
It's that time of year.
It is that time of year. So most, if not all of the ACA, Neo Geo, Fatal Fury, and King of Fighters games are on sale right now. They are all down to half price, $4 when they were $8. So Fatal Fury Special, Garu Mark of the Wolves, King of Fighters 95, 97, and 2000 are all they're each $4 instead of $8. So if you're interested in those, Bridge Constructor Portal, which I only had on this list because we were talking about why isn't Portal 2 on Switch a couple weeks ago, is now $7.50. It was $15. Guacamelee 2 is now $10. It was $20.
Overcooked 2 is $14.99. I think the big win here is Overcooked Special Edition is $6.79. That's a great deal for that game.
Totally. Messenger is $12, was $20. Ukulele is $13.59. It was $40. So that's like 2/3 off. Still don't know if it's worth it at $14.
But if you were ever going to I out,
yeah, now
seems like a great time to do it.
Did I already say Messenger? Did I?
You did, yeah, but worth a second mention. I think.
I really enjoyed the Messenger. And then also Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is $15. It normally goes for $15. Okay, now some new releases.
Yeah, for real. I mean, slim pickings this week. It's kind of actually the perfect time for us to be having Pokemon, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Dragon Quest 11S, Echoes of Elusive Age Definitive Edition for Nintendo Switch. It's the perfect time for those games to be out because we have a little bit of breathing room between now and the new year for us to kind of like finish these games.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot coming out this week. Today, November 19th, the sequel to Garfield Kart Racing is released, Garfield Kart Furious Racing. I don't know if it's like furious. It's unclear in the punctuation if that's a pun or not, but it can always be a pun in our hearts.
Garfield, a famously furious character. It's weird that there's a Garfield kart racer, right?
It's weird to me that there's a sequel.
Both parts of that are true. All right. Yeah, but other than Garfield kart, there's not really anything. So let's get out of these new releases. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It's time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or a group of performers didn't play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance of 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, a little bit of a weird one today. We are going to be talking about foods that we eat that other people might think are gross, but we don't think they're gross.
Yeah, I guess we've just like they become so normalized to us.
Yes.
Or we're just like used to it. I don't know why. Here's an example that leaps to mind early.
Yeah.
Is an egg sandwich. So I know egg salad sandwich is a thing, but I don't think I've ever eaten one of those. So what I do is it's just 2 pieces of bread.
Yeah.
Put a little mayo on it. Crack like 2 eggs in a bowl, stir that up, throw it in the microwave for like a minute and 15 seconds.
The microwave.
It kind of scrambles the egg. It makes like an egg patty type thing. Scoop that out of the bowl. Your microwave smells terrible, by the way, at this point. And then just throw it on that bread with some mayonnaise on there.
Right. You already did the mayonnaise. Don't put 2 mayonnaises
Don't put 2 mayonnaises on there. There you go. That's an egg sandwich.
Yeah, I would say I think that's kind of gross.
I've been eating it since I was a kid, and now it's just like a thing that I eat when I'm lazy and like have to eat something.
I mean, I guess it is not too far off of because like a breakfast sandwich. This feels very unbreakfast sandwich, right? The mayo like takes it to a different place for me.
Right. Yeah. I completely agree. Like, I don't think anybody would mistake it for breakfast.
And you're just having it on, like, slices of white bread or, like, wheat bread?
Wheat bread.
Right, sure, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So I think, for me, it is a more generalized statement about my relationship with milk. because I will drink a glass of milk. And I know, 'cause born and raised in Wisconsin, right? And I understand that
Look,
this.
whoa.
What?
I'm putting out egg sandwich.
Hold
and
on.
You're
Well,
putting out,
yes, I am though, because I think it's weird, and I think if you're not going to jump on with me here and say, yeah, that is weird, Patrick, you need to look at yourself in the mirror, my friend. Yes, I will. You don't think it's that weird?
I don't think drinking a glass of milk.
I think
is
drinking
that
a
weird.
glass of milk as an adult is strange.
Okay.
And I will do it kind of on the reg.
Okay. Well, this is a safe space, and so if you feel like you're being vulnerable, I want you to know that I appreciate that.
I don't buy this for 1 second.
I just don't think it's that weird.
I'm trying to think of. Well, then you're a weird too, Mark.
I know I'm weird.
I'm trying to think of like what else I eat that is weird.
Okay.
I mean, I will put broccoli on pizza.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that's weird.
That's a little strange.
Mhm. With like marinara sauce.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a regular. I don't eat meat, so but I love pizza,
Right.
and I want there to be toppings on it. And so like a usual pizza that I will make is one with mushrooms and red pepper and onion and broccoli. And I understand. I have posted a picture of a pizza that I have made on social media and been like, yeah, pizza. And then people are like, broccoli. But I don't know, man. As I have grown, I like broccoli.
Yeah, I like broccoli.
I want it
Yeah.
to be on like everything.
I don't think that either of the things you mentioned meet
Well,
the criteria.
maybe I'm
but that's
just
fine.
so
That's
normal.
Fine. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just
That-
real normal.
I think that's fine. I think that's great. Even.
All right, egg sandwich. What else you got?
No, that's it.
Well,
that's
'cause
the only weird thing I eat.
I feel like I used to eat more weird things that okay, when I was a child, I used to make a lot of English muffin pizzas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where I would take an English muffin and put like a marinara sauce and then
It's usually like
cheese.
spaghetti sauce.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's
totally.
like what was available.
Whatever
Yeah.
was there, right?
Yeah.
And then just like some like cheddar cheese, probably shredded cheddar cheese. But there was one day, and I was too old to be doing this, so I was probably like 15, where I was like, I'm gonna make myself an English muffin pizza, and we had no English muffins, we had no spaghetti sauce, and we had no shredded cheese. So I was like, this will not deter me. I will. Oh no! I'll finish the anecdote. I took a slice of white bread, covered it in ketchup, and got the Kraft Parmesan cheese.
There we go. Worth it. That's disgusting.
Put it in the microwave.
Yep. Oh no.
And then when I pulled it out of the microwave, I took one bite of it and I quietly threw it out the window into the woods behind the house, so no one would ever know that I had done this horrible
Life
thing.
is too short for microwaved white bread, ketchup,
and Parmesan
cheese
pizzas.
Yeah.
Whew. We were accompanied today by the GVSU New Music Ensemble. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
Everybody should try an egg sandwich, by the way.
There's no way. I
mean, they're not good. I really need to stress that.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't like dox me on the internet, with pictures of egg sandwiches.
I mean, why don't you just have eggs and then like a piece of bread?
That's so much. I mean, you could say that if anything. Why not have peanut butter and then on like
well, because you're trying to cut out the sugar. I get that.
Moving on. Nintendo has announced.
Do we need to go back and play the music again?
Moving forward. Nintendo has announced that Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, the mobile game, will be introducing a paid membership service called Pocket Camp Club. There are two plans to choose from, one which allows you to, quote, Appoint one lucky animal. I like it's like one lucky animal. Like you're choosing one for stardom
And
out
like
of the
they
crowd.
can't wait.
Yeah.
And if you choose one, it means you deny the rest of them the opportunity.
Appoint it's like Willy Wonka. Appoint one lucky animal as your camp caretaker and get some extra help around the campsite. Or another one in which, quote, you'll be able to receive fortune cookies and store your furniture and clothing items in warehouses.
So all of that sounds specific enough that I don't know what it means, as we've not really been playing Pocket Camp since it was released.
Yeah, and I think it's changed radically since then. I think it's interesting. I saw some people online talking about like, oh, this must mean that the Mario Kart monetization has been successful because they have a Gold Pass monthly membership that
Yes.
I think is $5 a month. And you get like certain exclusives and more gems or other items like that. And I don't necessarily know that this means that, that monetization has been radically successful enough because I think they would have been having to plan for this in Animal Crossing.
Oh,
right?
interesting.
In order
Yeah.
to implement it way before Mario Kart came out, before they would have that information. But I do think it obviously points towards a trend in how Nintendo is looking to monetize these games in a way that they weren't before, right? It's like a new monetization opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, like, I think that that's just it, is that it is a new monetization opportunity. You will still be able to buy whatever premium currency Animal Crossing Pocket Camp had in the first place.
Bells?
I mean, maybe bells are like the regular current. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But like, if they are putting a number of different ways in there for you to give Animal Crossing Pocket Camp your money, like, I guess it's, as someone who's not playing at all, seems fine if like a little bit. I guess I don't have an adjective here.
Right. No, I totally know what you mean. It's not like the most fun topic we've ever covered before.
Right.
Right. To get into like the nitty gritty of how Nintendo is making money off of these games. I kind of interestingly, like the plans go into effect on November 21st. So later this week.
Yeah.
With a video coming out on November 20th, so tomorrow, to explain them in more detail. There's no pricing info so far. I'm sure we'll get those tomorrow, but probably something similar to Mario Kart, I would imagine.
Yeah. I wonder if like if so there are like two different plans here. I wonder if like the Mario Kart level, because that's either $5 or $5.99, right?
Yeah.
If that's like the high end of what like the monthly could be, it seems. I mean, that seems pretty high. When like that's what Apple Arcade is for like a bunch of games. Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting to see like Nintendo kind of working out how they monetize their mobile games.
In happier news, the Art of Super Mario Odyssey book was recently translated into English, and there have been some like cute observations that have come out of it.
Yeah, let's talk about
since
cute
it's released.
observations.
So the development team made realism an important part of Mario's design, which I think is super interesting. Prioritizing the physical material of Mario's clothes, shoes, and hair.
And hair is definitely something that we all noticed right away. That like Mario has separate hairs on his head.
And like a couple of them are gray.
And a couple of them are gray, and also separate hairs in his mustache that still make that kind of like wavy. Like his mustache hairs are very long.
Even his eyes were made to have like what they call like a tangible sense of depth, like real eyes, which is really interesting. Character art lead Sho Murata said, quote, "There were so many new issues we had to tackle when attempting this updated design. While making sure not to deviate from Mario's existing image overall, we made his face a little more, quote, cool than in previous games to make it seem right when set in motion."
And man, Mario is so cool.
I
in
know.
this game.
I love this because that's the same adjective like we've kind of talked about in the past when Koji Kondo kind of took more of a managerial role on Mario games for the producing the music for them. That the composers, they would write something, and a lot of Kondo's feedback was like, oh no, like Mario music has to be more cool than this. Like Mario is cool. And I like before that and before this, I would never describe Mario as cool, but I love that is like their goal.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, no, we got to make Mario look cool. We
I
got to
mean,
make the music cool.
There is like I wonder if cool is a word that like when translated from Japanese like is maybe like a little bit different because there is like a confidence about Mario that we associate with coolness that is very attractive, right? And that is one of the things that I like about Mario. I don't know that I would necessarily if my default adjective for that would be cool. But like that he's got a little bit of like a swagger or like he's self-assured in some way.
Totally. But I think also like how that manifests itself is I think the lesser elements of some Mario games are when they're too cute, right?
Yes.
When they like we've seen that even with like the Yoshi series, right?
Mhm.
Where like the music in the most recent one, its stated goal seems to be like cute, right?
Yeah.
And that almost like it undercuts the game. It's like to the detriment of it. But I think when they're saying
it
like,
feels
oh,
like
we're
it's not
making
taking
it like
itself seriously.
exactly,
Yeah.
and I think that is what they're really kind of like what they're saying when they're like, oh, make it like cool, make it interesting. It's like make it sincere, make it confident, make it like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And all those other elements will come into place if you're just like, no, what is the most like fun, imaginative thing?
Yeah,
and
totally.
like following that instead of trying to be like, what would be cute and what would be like what fits in a Mario game.
Yeah, I mean, it also helps that like in like recent Mario games, he's always wearing dark sunglasses and a leather jacket and smoking a cigarette. Like,
yeah, I mean that's helped
it
a
totally
lot.
helps. I'm like, yeah, Mario is cool.
Yeah, for every pack of Mario cigarettes, you can collect points and you can get your own Mario leather jacket.
Or you can get 1 cent off a Switch game.
Luigi's design was also carefully scrutinized and was originally going to be further away from the classic look that ends up appearing in the game. And this is kind of just like a throwaway fact that I am obsessed with.
Yeah, I want to know. What were they? They were originally that there was a crazy design for Luigi out there.
A radical redesign. And I'm dying to know what that is. But no details are given.
Leather jacket, dark sunglasses, smoking cigarettes.
Murata weighed in on this too, saying, quote, Luigi hosts the Balloon World minigame. We wanted players to feel welcome in this minigame, so we gave him a cheerful and casual attitude, like a performer passing out balloons on the street. We wanted to make it seem like he came directly from the Mushroom Kingdom, so in contrast to the sticker-laden Odyssey, his satchel sports only stickers from the Mushroom Kingdom. One of the stickers is actually out of circulation.
So I love this attention to detail that there are stickers within the game and that Luigi just has stickers from the Mushroom Kingdom. That's so cute. I love it so much. He's not going on any grand adventure. He's not collecting stickers from all over the world. He's just getting them from the nice, safe Mushroom Kingdom.
Murata also points out that Luigi's balloons are the same colors as the Super Famicom's face buttons.
Yeah.
And which fans were also quick to point out when Luigi's Balloon World launched in 2018.
But cool to have them like acknowledge it and be like, yep, we sure did do that on purpose.
Hey, we finally got a firm release date for Shovel Knight King of Cards and Shovel Knight Showdown.
Yeah, we did.
So both new game modes will be coming to Shovel Knight Treasure Trove on December 10th.
Right. So, for anyone who's not really been keeping up with Shovel Knight and all of the extra game modes in there, if you bought the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, which it was like originally like the base game, it comes with 4 new scenarios basically. It started with the Shovel of Hope, and then we got the hold on, I have it in the notes. Plague of Shadows, Spectre of Torment, King of Cards, and Showdown are all 5. They're like each one is basically a new game. And if you have the Treasure Trove on December 10th, you will have them all. They are all also available for individual purchase. So if you're like, I am not interested in the original, but I've heard good things about Spectre of Torment, which you may have heard on this show because I really enjoyed Spectre of Torment when it launched on Switch, you can also buy them separately that way.
So you have a note in here that Showdown will not be available on Nintendo 3DS or PlayStation Vita. Does that mean that, because does Treasure Trove exist on those platforms?
So it's like the original version. They never broke them out into separate versions on Vita and 3DS. So if you bought the original Shovel Knight, for the full price game, it is the treasure trove version.
Oh, but on those platforms, whether you have like the treasure trove version or not, you will not get Showdown.
That's right.
Okay.
Showdown is not coming to those platforms.
Gotcha. The physical version of the game with all 5 game modes is coming out December 10th as well, except on PlayStation 4 for whatever reason. That's delayed until 2020, which we would care about if we were a PlayStation show.
Hey, but we're not.
So cry us a river somewhere else. The Amiibo 3-pack of Plague Knight, Spectre Knight, and King Knight will also be available on December 10th. It's a great day to be a Shovel Knight fan.
I just got an email from Best Buy reminding me that I pre-ordered those Amiibo like a year ago. So I have not purchased Amiibo in a while, and I guess I have purchased these already. So
did you already pay for them?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Speaking of showdowns, Samurai Showdown has a release window on the Switch. The first quarter of 2020. Samurai Showdown 2019 is the 12th game of the franchise and has been available on other platforms for most of the year and is included as part of Google Stadia's launch this week as well.
So good news for anyone who is interested in modern SNK fighters. Samurai Showdown I'm like a casual fan of Samurai Showdown. I like it. I think it's cool. I have not really had too many opportunities to play it like on systems that I own. And I think it'll be a perfect like Switch title.
Nintendo has announced that they will be selling. Sorry, I got a text message right as that was happening.
A flip cover and screen protector for the Switch Lite. It is. So have you seen this thing, Mark?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it looks like a very simple like light case for the Switch Lite that has like a thing that flips over the front of the Switch, covering the screen, and also has like little things carved out for the thumbsticks. Kind of turning it into a 3DS without the second screen. But, like every time that you and I have talked about the portability of the Switch versus the portability of the 3DS, we lament that there's no way to just like close it and throw it in our bags or whatever. And it feels like this is a good workaround for that.
Comes out on December 8th and is $40.
Yeah, and is just starting on Nintendo's online store and a few select online retailers, and then will be coming out to other. It'll be in actual stores in 2020.
NPD's Matt Piscatella pointed out that Luigi's Mansion 3 was Switch's #1 best-selling game in October and had the highest first month sales of any game of the franchise, which previously that was held by the original Luigi's Mansion on GameCube.
Okay, so if you take even half a second to think about this, it is remarkable because when did Luigi's Mansion come out?
The 31st.
The last possible day of October.
So I think the reporting period included like a few days.
I don't want to hear
November,
any explanations that makes this less impressive,
that's
Mark.
still only like 3 or 4 days of sales. And also NPD, they report things by cost. What am I like revenue?
Sure.
Versus units. So it makes sense that Luigi's Mansion, the original one, was probably $50, right?
Oh yeah.
The 3DS version would be $40.
Yes.
And this one was $60. But all of those are just tiny footnote qualifications in this remarkable achievement. The rest of the top 10 on Switch for October 2019 goes like this. #1, of course, was Luigi's Mansion 3. So when I said the rest of, that was not technically correct as to what I'm doing now. So #2 is Ring Fit Adventure. #3 is Link's Awakening. #4 is Mario Kart 8. #5 was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. #6 was Overwatch, so maybe it didn't flop after all.
I mean, maybe. It sounds like you're eating your words, Mark.
And like an egg sandwich. #7 is Breath of the Wild. #8 was Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. #9 was Super Mario Maker 2. And #10 was New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Fun to see Ring Fit Adventure up there.
So high up there.
Did you finish? Have you played more of Luigi's Mansion 3?
Not since the last time we spoke about it. No.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's another one of those games that I'm hoping I have time to finish later this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so too. No, I mean, I was just thinking about like, because we are to the point in the year where we are we don't have any other like big Nintendo games coming out this
Right.
year. And there are big Nintendo games for Q1 next year.
Right, like the only two that we know about, I think, are Fire Emblem, Sharp FE,
Right, Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
and that's Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Sorry, Sharp FE,
Mhm.
and that comes out in January.
Right.
And then Animal Crossing, of course, in March.
And then Xenoblade Chronicles.
Oh, does that have a release date? I already forgot.
I mean, they said 2020, but
Oh,
that's,
okay, yeah.
that's it. So we know that there are those three releases. I kind of go back and forth on whether I think Tokyo Mirage Sessions is actually like a big release.
It's interesting. I think it's interesting that they have positioned it in like the Mario Deluxe, right? Like in like that Mario like tentpole position. I think it'll be moderately successful, right? I
think so too.
And I will probably end up picking it up. I don't know how much time I'm going to have to like put into it with all these, other games that I'm sure I'll still be trying to finish at that point. Wrapping up this NPD piece of news. Additionally, Switch was the best-selling hardware of October, and the system remains the best-selling console of 2019.
Not really a huge surprise, as the other platforms are kind of winding up their generations.
But the interesting thing is that Switch year over year has like increased. So it's not just like number one because everything else is diminished. It's like while everything else is diminishing, Switch is beginning to like hit that sweet spot in every console's life. I think
when Pokemon comes out for it.
Exactly, yeah. And I think next year is going to be like even crazier.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially with, as we go down the list of the top 10 best-selling games on Switch, number 4 is Mario Kart 8, number 5 is Super Smash Brothers, and number 7 is Breath of the Wild. Like these are evergreen titles that people are always going to buy, and when they pick up a Switch, they are always going to go for these 3 games.
And if the rumors are true that 2020, like that Nintendo is aiming for the Breath of the Wild sequel to be released at the end of 2020, like it's just going to be madness.
Oh man. Well, I look forward to that madness. All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. That is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. I don't normally do this at the end of an episode, but please email us with your nominations for the best piece of Nintendo music. We are running out of time. You have until Friday the 22nd to get those into us. Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. And remember, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. If you like the episode, you can share it on Facebook or Twitter. On Twitter, I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MK Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers, apologizing for milk not being weird enough for you and saying thanks for listening.
Hi folks, Sean Watkins here. I'm here to tell you about my podcast/album called This Is Who We Are. That's right, it's a podcast and a record, all rolled into one. Each episode features one song off the record, paired up with a conversation with a guest who is related to that song in some way. Guests include Jackson Brown, Inara George, Kate McCucci, and the conversations aren't about these songs specifically. The songs just serve as sort of a topical springboard that hopefully will lend a little context to this new album of mine. Sort of like a modern-day version of liner notes, only much more personal. The podcast and the album are both called This Is Who We Are. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.